Let me read this.
Yes.
Sad news. Headline. State to regulate podcasts. South Africa's parliament is set to host a high-stakes roundtable on Tuesday, 24th of March, 2026, that's tomorrow, to discuss regulating the nation's booming podcast sector. Thanks to Njaya.
He's mentioned it.
Led by Kusela Sangoni Diko. She's the one who chimed in when we were going through that thing.
Yeah.
And they were sure like, these guys need to be thingied. She's one of my favorite MPs. She always speaks sense, except for now. The committee aims to balance public interest protection with the rapid growth of digital creators' economy. As podcasts increasingly influence news and culture, officials are exploring how existing laws apply to on-demand audio, which is podcast. The dialogue involving regulators, legal experts, and platforms will focus on creating a co-regulatory model. The goal is to establish accountability, but they removed Clement Shaw because he wanted accountability.
Wow.
The goal is to establish accountability and complaint mechanisms without stifling the innovation and diverse voices currently driving the industry. So that's where we are. And I know there's been a white paper for the longest time, and this is where it's at now, clearly. So there's going to be laws eventually passed by Parliament. Plus it's West now, the DA is now eating. So no one is going to push back. Maybe MK probably, but no one. But they might not all push back because they are all politicians and they all don't want accountability.
Yes.
So all of them might agree and say, actually, Brabant, fuck is a podcast. You know, they might all just agree.
Yeah.
Even
So
if they're not under one party.
BCCSA for podcasting.
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
But it's fine. We'll just relocate, guys. We'll go to Mauritius.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
That's it.
Because they don't have a law like that.
No, they don't have a law in Mauritius like that.
No, but okay,
Yeah.
wait.
Plus it's...
4 hours away. One flight.
Exactly.
But wait.
Yeah.
Oh, we changed it from podcasting to vodcasting.
Yeah.
They didn't mention vodcasting.
No, there's a void there. Well, you want to be in that void. Void casting.
Void.
Podcast.
We'll move the
void.
summers.
Voice cast and shit.
I wonder what's that gonna look like because think about it. So we're South African. We are podcasting. Let's say we are podcasting in a room, right? And we're like, we are in England,
Yeah.
but we're here in Randburg, right? We're here in Randburg.
Okay.
Let's say we're in England.
Yeah.
We've uploaded from the England internet with England data
Yes.
to
Yeah.
the internet.
Yes.
So you're holding us accountable because we're South Africans? Because, like, I'm trying to...
Or we're talking about South African affairs.
Yeah. So, how? Like, I just want to see, like, how? Because we could say, well, we're not doing a show from South Africa to begin with.
Yeah, no. So essentially, how it works,
what's
right?
binding us?
So essentially, how it works. Remember, we work for YouTube, right? Which is an American company.
Yes.
We just happen to be resided in South Africa.
Yes.
Right?
Like, we're working remotely.
Yes. So now YouTube has a responsibility. Remember last week we were reading the terms and conditions of YouTube.
Yes.
To work within that country's laws.
Yes.
So you see, for example, like in Dubai, you can't get internet. You can't watch porn, in Dubai. That's their
Damn, I
law.
didn't try access porn when I was in Dubai, but
Yeah,
we're finding out now.
you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if this bill goes through, then YouTube has no choice
But to comply.
but to comply.
Yo.
But that's what I'm saying.
What I'm saying, how are they gonna know we're recording from South Africa?
They won't know that. I mean,
VPN.
obviously, it's tongue in cheek what you're saying, right? Oh, you being for real.
No. What I'm trying to say is, look, if you're on the radio, you're broadcasting from South Africa on terrestrial radio. There's laws, right? What makes us a South African podcast is what I'm asking.
That we shoot from here. So we shoot from Randburg. So for example, right now, if anything were to happen, let's say.
Also VPN.
Yeah, VPN also. I'll get to VPN before I lose my track of thought. So, for example, if I were to punch you and physically assault you, when we go to the police station, they ask the address of where it happened. You know, when you open a case for anything, they ask the address. So, because our address is South African, we are a South African podcast.
Ah.
If you could just, I don't know, William or Doc, you'll start. Should podcasts be treated as broadcasting service under the ICASA mandate? I'm now talking as a regulator because I've heard this morning we've been deploying around the issue of is podcast a broadcasting service? Should they be treated? That's the first question. Or as a digital content platform outside traditional rules? If I could get just the first one to take that. Doc, you can start. Doc Mpofu. Just keeping time. How much time do we have? 45. Sorry for the 45. All right, let's keep it short, to the point. So I've classified the themes so that we can follow. So I'm starting purely with the legal classification because at the end of the day, I've asked the question, is there a problem with broadcast? Doc, is there a problem? What is the problem?
Honourable Chair, firstly, thank you very much for the kind invitation. Honourable members, Deputy Minister, Chairperson, it's a great joy to be with you and thank you very much for the kind welcome. On the first question, are podcasts a problem? I would strongly resist that framing. And I would suggest that we need to view podcasts as a potential island of excellence within the South African economy right now. When we consider the very difficult position in which the South African economy finds itself, podcasts have risen as Black-led, independent, and financially sustainable economic entities. And I think that's a particularly important island of excellence that not only we need to think about regulating, but that we need to consider how we actually assist and help, not just from a truth perspective, but from an economic perspective. So I'd strongly resist the urge to characterize podcasts as some kind of problem, and I would rather invite us to consider how we treat them as an emerging exemplar of excellence in the country at the moment, warts and all. As far as the regulatory question goes, I think we have to be very careful here to consider what it is that we are regulating. And for me, there are three distinct areas of regulation that are apt. The first is you regulate harm. And those kind of harms are dignity harms like hate speech or defamation. So what are we regulating? We're trying to regulate some kind of harm here to people's dignity. And there, for me, we have very effective ways through our courts of regulating egregious assaults on people's dignity and defamation. And the question I would ask is, why do we think that those existing mechanisms, which are enforced through an independent judiciary, are inappropriate in this case? So in terms of the regulation of overt harms like hate speech or defamation, we have regulations. The other thing we would regulate is explicitness, overt violence, foul language, inappropriate nudity. And there really is a need to regulate. But there, for me, platforms already regulate to a large extent. If they don't, then I think that that may be an area that we need to speak about more seriously. Again, there are also legal regulations for egregious violations of those areas of regulation. But also podcasts, I think, might be caught by the film and publication regulations already. Without wanting to be too prolix, because I'm not quite sure how long I have.
Yeah, just 1 minute.
1 minute left. Yeah. I think the third thing that we would want to regulate is disinformation, misinformation, or in other words, we'd want to protect truth. So we'd have dignity on the one hand, we'd have explicitness, or we'd want to protect some form of violation of accuracy. And this, for me, is where I think the real debate lies, because this seems to be where the main concern seems to be around podcasting. But I would say that when we consider how to preserve accuracy in the digital age, it's really not as easy as simply setting up some kind of parallel BCSA or suggesting that podcasters should sign up to their own form of regulation. So for me, the debate should shift rather from explicit harm or explicitness to questions of truth, how we preserve accuracy. But the only question I would raise is, I've looked quite deeply into the practicalities of how we do this, Chair, and we mustn't underestimate how vexed this question is. Right from the beginning of how you define a podcast, right through to the question of if you want to create some kind of stratification of podcasts, that becomes an incredibly difficult thing. Where I believe, and I close here, there are areas where we can focus in the short term to make the most change would be the right of reply. And I listened very carefully to the Deputy Minister, and I apologize wholeheartedly for not replying to his YouTube comment. The right of reply, I think, is an important area we can focus on together, as well as the advertising area and making sure that audiences understand when things are paid for and when they aren't. As for an overt attempt to license or introduce any kind of state regulation or introduce any form of what might be bordering on light, medium, or heavy forms of censorship, I think we should strongly resist that. I think it would have a very hampering effect on not only digital media truth, but also a burgeoning industry. And I think we should be very careful in considering any kind of state participation in the control of podcasting. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Just for the record, just to introduce yourself.
Thank you very much. I am Dr. Sizwe Mpofu-Walsh, the founder of the SNWX podcast.
Thank you.